Crime, Wine, and Chaos contains adult language and graphic content. Listener discretion is advised.
It's hard to get by just upon a smile, Chaos Kids. I'm Naomi.
Mm-hmm. I'm Amber. Ain't that the truth? This is Crime, Wine, and Chaos. Hello.
Hello, sister. What is going on?
Coming in hot in your bathrobe.
I am in my bathrobe.
Love that journey for you.
Look,
Thank you.
We do what we got to do. I'm trying real hard. My headphones are sitting a little precariously farther back than I normally would wear them, just because I don't want to flatten out the middle of my hair. I don't want to,
It's a whole
thing. Things are happening.
You're a whole vibe right now.
I'm pretty much a whole vibe all the time, but
you're a different vibe right now.
I am.
Yeah. You really like touching your microphone a lot,
I'm
don't
so
you?
sorry. I'm trying to get in position.
God.
I'm just,
Hey, let me know when you're
what
ready.
I was thinking about too? I was thinking, I am ready. I was remembering back to that first episode I ever did with you, and I thought it would be wise to just be on mute when I wasn't talking. Except that every time I pushed the mute button, it made a noise. Do you remember?
Yeah. I do. I also remember in the early days when you decided to pop in a cough drop as soon as we hit record.
That was one time.
And then it was just clink, clink, clink against your teeth. And I was like,
it was in for 3 seconds because you were like, really?
Why don't you just chew some bubble gum, make some bubbles while you're at it? God.
You guys don't mind if I go get a snack, do you?
You're like, I'll be right back. I got to do a few things.
How are you,
just doing
sister?
A quick shave. I'm go get a snack. I'm good. It's been a day.
Has it?
It's been a day. Yeah, I got off work of my regular job 5 minutes ago.
I appreciate you so much for doing this.
No. I did a double barbecue situation today that ended in humiliation.
What?
So,
what happened?
Listen, I've been on an interview panel all week for a position, and I just sort of assumed that it was at the same time that it's been all week. And so I decided to go ahead and run over to UW to pick up some stuff from, doesn't matter, it's a $5 story. They had some of my podcasting gear because I just interviewed some folks from over there. And I logged in 15 minutes late to be on an interview panel.
Oh.
Because it wasn't at 1 o'clock.
It was at 12:45.
It was at 11 a.m.
And it was still going at 1?
No. I logged in at 11:15, but it was embarrassing. But I did the thank you for waiting for me. And yep. So I've never done something like that in my pay my bills job. Just completely dropped the ball, and it was embarrassing.
People don't know about
that's been my day.
People don't know about double barbecue, but man, that was
and they don't need to. I feel like I almost got shot. I feel like I could have been shot.
That was classic. One day. You know what? I'm going to make a promise. Chaos Kids Club members, the next time we do a virtual wine night, we'll tell the double barbecue story.
Do you know that ever since then, every time I do something stupid, which is often, Michael just goes, double barbecue. Mm-hmm.
So, anyway. Chaos Kids Club members get to know. Maybe that'll be incentive for you to join the club.
Oh, man.
Promises. Yeah. Sister, what are you drinking? Yeah. Are you drinking?
Thank you for asking. I'm drinking some water. Because
you can't be trusted otherwise today.
I can't be trusted. No. I need to clean after this. And so once I drink wine, I'm sort of done for the day.
Sure.
So I didn't want to put myself in that state of mind.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
Understood.
But I do have a horrible crime for you.
I kind of thought you did.
Yeah, this one sucks.
Great.
Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
You're strapped in?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I am going to tell you about the double murder of Roxanne Ellis and Michelle Abdill.
Okay.
So we are going to Medford, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that is. Medford, do you?
I feel like it's Central Oregon.
Okay.
But I could be so wrong. I don't know enough about Oregon.
I literally just went through the entire state of Oregon like a handful of months ago, and I couldn't tell you.
Okay, great.
So Roxanne Ellis and her partner, Michelle Abdill, they loved living in Medford. They were enjoying family life. Roxanne's daughter, Lori, lived across the street. In 1990, after enduring increasing homophobia in Colorado, where they were living, they decided to move to Oregon
Okay.
for some peace.
Okay.
The couple met in Colorado, where Roxanne, who was the divorced mom of two, worked as a nurse, and Michelle worked in the same doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
They started a successful property management business and were elected to the board of their church. They spent their spare time restoring their old craftsman style house and visiting Ellis's 3-year-old granddaughter.
Oh.
She lived across the street.
Right.
So it's so cute. In one of Lori's interviews, Mom Lori, she said that her daughter would just poke her head out the front door and yell across the street for her grandmas. That was so cute.
So was her daughter and her granddaughter, were they already living in Medford? Is that why they chose Medford? Or did they all move together?
I'm not sure, but I feel like they all moved together.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
I know. Can you imagine living across the street from grandma, just poking your head out? Come over and play. Yeah. So cute. So they also worked as activists fighting 2 of Oregon state ballots. There was an initiative in 1992, which was to abolish the state constitution verbiage that declared homosexuality as abnormal, wrong, and unnatural.
Great.
And then Measure 19, which intended to restrict library access for materials related to homosexuality. They were like, fuck no and fuck that.
You know, one thing that a lot of people don't know about Oregon is that Oregon was, when it was created as a state in its original constitution, it literally did not allow Black people to live there.
Wow.
For like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It is very white in Oregon. There are historical reasons why.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's our less progressive sister of the South. Still better than other parts of the country, but not great.
Not great.
Not great. Okay, so now we're in 1995. We're in Medford, Oregon. The couple has been together for 12 years. Lori says her mom, Roxanne, was extremely giving with a big heart. And she described Michelle, her partner, as a spitfire.
Okay.
She said Michelle was really smart and strong-willed.
Okay.
And the 2 women loved being grandparents. Like I said, granddaughter Hannah would yell across the street at her grandmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 women together operated a property management company.
Okay. Cool.
So that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Mm-hmm. So it was a Monday morning on December 4th, 1995. Lori and her mom, Roxanne, were ready to start the work week, and they were both in good spirits. Lori had a property to show at 9:30, and Roxanne had one at 11. But Roxanne didn't come back from her 11 o'clock showing.
Okay.
Then at 2 o'clock, she missed an appointment with an important client. Like, she didn't show up at all.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And it was after the missed appointment that Lori started getting really nervous.
Yeah.
She said she called her mom's cell phone like 6 times.
They had cell phones in 1995?
Literally, what's in my next paragraph? I'm sure it was the Zach Morris mobile. Totally.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, she did. And she also repeatedly paged her.
Sure. You have to have both. You have to have both.
She's got, she's.
These are serious business women. They're running a serious business.
They are. But also remember how, like, because Dad had one of those and it was like insanely expensive.
Yes.
To even answer it or call out. So, best to have a pager.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pagers were much cheaper.
Field your calls
That's
way.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So finally by 5 p.m., Michelle tells Lori that she did hear from Roxanne and that Roxanne had said that her car battery was dead and she needed a jump.
Okay.
And Michelle was going to go help her.
Okay.
But another hour goes by and Lori still hasn't heard back from Michelle or her mom. So she decides to head over to the vacant duplex, which was where her mom's 11 o'clock appointment was.
Mm-hmm.
And as she is headed to the house, she turns a corner and there's her mom's vehicle driving right in front of her.
Like in the same direction or coming at her?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, in the same direction.
Oh.
She rounds a corner and she's behind her mom on this road.
Okay.
So Lori is like, what in the world? And she's flashing her lights and honking her horn. Eventually the car pulls over. So Lori pulls over right behind her and jumps out of her car to go talk to her mom. But as soon as Lori is out of her car, the car takes off, speeds away.
Oh, this is sketchy. This is so sketchy.
Mm-hmm. So Lori is like, what the fuck? That's obviously not my mom behind the wheel. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Then Lori finds Michelle's car parked in front of the vacant duplex. Like she got there to help with jumping Roxanne's car, but Roxanne's car just took off down the road. Michelle is parked in front of this duplex.
It's all fucking what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm. The doors to Michelle's car were unlocked, which was unlike her. And so now Lori has seen both women's cars, but still has not seen either of them. So she calls the police. An officer comes out to the duplex and they look through the entire house. It's completely vacant and clean, like the way you would expect a vacant house to look. There's no blood. There's no damage inside. Nothing.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Mm-hmm. But police are super concerned about these weird circumstances. So they start knocking on doors neighboring the vacant unit. And they speak to a woman who lived next door. She was a single mom living there with her 15-year-old son. And the son said that he saw a white male next door who said hello to him and was like, hey, kid, I'm going to be your new neighbor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he heard the garage door open and close several times. And he also said that he heard vehicles coming and going several times.
Like at the duplex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. His mom said that she also saw the same man around 5 o'clock that day. She said that he was walking along the fence line that bordered the duplex property with like another apartment complex behind them. And she thought this was odd because it wasn't somewhere you would walk.
Right.
It wasn't like, but she thought like, I guess if it's a potential tenant, maybe they were just scoping out the whole property.
Sure. So wait, is this woman and her son, do they live like in the other duplex unit?
Mm-hmm,
okay. So this is the same building.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they are able to get a composite sketch after working with the 15-year-old, and they ramp up their search for the two women. So Lori checks her mom's planner, but all she had written down for that 11 o'clock appointment was the property name, but not the name of the person she was showing the unit to.
And also, did they put out like a bolo on her car? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Then detectives go through the entire call log placed to the property management office that morning. And one of the calls stand out because it was placed from a nearby, like, low budget motel. Mm-hmm. So they go to this motel and they are unable to determine which room it came from, just that it came from this hotel.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But they are able to pull fingerprints left behind on the garage door at the duplex. So they run the prints through the database, but they don't get any hits. I just think it's so... I remember there was a few times where Allison was a little bit sketched out showing empty apartments to people, or if you're a real estate agent, like it's,
like
I know they put things. Yes, I know they put things in place so that people from your office know where you are and you have to leave your driver's license. So, but it still just seems scary.
I mean, there's only so much you can do to like defend against something happening to you in that situation.
I feel like this should be a buddy situation.
100%.
So they reach out to the public for help. They push the women's information out, pictures of them go out to the media, and they make sure to run it over and over and over again. A lot of reporters were speculating that this could be a hate crime.
Yeah.
So 3 days after the disappearance, it makes national news. And they do get several tips coming in about sightings of the women, but all of those tips were followed up on and they didn't lead to anything. They even have a helicopter in the air. They have searchers on the ground. They went all the way up to Grant Pass, which is northern Oregon, and nothing. The women even had a vacation cabin on the coast. They went out there and checked out the cabin and nothing still. So Lori gets herself a police scanner and she just sits and listens to any conversations that may be coming through about her mom and Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when she hears on the scanner that her mom's vehicle has been found in a parking lot across town.
Okay.
So Lori gets in her car and she immediately heads for that parking lot.
Oh my God, Lori.
She's such a badass.
Like, that's like no fear. Like, I'm just going.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Medford, how big is Medford? It's not a big town, is it?
I had to ask you where it was. Why would I know? I don't know where it is, but let me tell you the population, the square footage, or square mile. I don't fucking know. Don't ask me.
Okay.
Oh, so she gets to the parking lot. She gets out of her car and she's frantically running to her mom's car. But of course, an officer stops her and is like, no,
Yeah.
right? Inside Roxanne's car, they find several large shipping boxes and a mattress.
A mattress in her car?
Well, it's technically like a truck with a canopy.
Okay.
Not technically, it is. It's a truck with a canopy. Technically, like it's an El Camino? Like, what do you mean? And I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but that is the world's ugliest car.
No, that's been replaced. The world's ugliest car has been replaced.
With the Cybertruck?
That's exactly right.
Okay, you're right. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
So under the mattress, officers can see what appears to be a head sticking out and an arm and a portion of a torso. And there is blood leaking out of the truck onto the pavement.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And after further search, police discover the bodies of both women inside the truck underneath that mattress. Mm-hmm. They were both gagged with duct tape around their heads and over their mouths. They had both been shot twice in the head.
Execution style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now they're investigating a double homicide. So the man who called the police was a cable installer named Jerry. And Jerry looked a lot like the composite sketch.
Wait, he called the police when?
He was the one that called in that he found the
truck?
Vehicle. The vehicle, because there was a bolo out for that.
Okay, because you said she was listening to the scanner and heard that they found it, but you didn't say that. I didn't realize, or I missed that somebody had called it in.
No, you didn't miss it. I didn't say it.
I was trying to give you some.
No. I'm telling you the story the way it was told to me. So keep up, okay? Okay, so Jerry the cable guy looks real similar to the composite sketch. Mm-hmm. So they're like focusing on this guy, right?
Sure.
He said that he was just out on a service call and he happened to see the vehicle. Uh-huh. But police are also getting several tips from all over the U.S. that don't point to Jerry the cable guy. So they're like, okay, we'll just add him to the list, right? Mm-hmm. So they dig into Jerry and they're able to confirm that he had a solid alibi. He was not the guy.
He really was just a good Samaritan who recognized the car that was on the bolo.
Yep, who had the same unfortunate Coke bottle glasses. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So 2 days after the women's bodies were discovered, they get a new lead. So Darlene Bradshaw was a single mom. She had just moved about 2 weeks prior from Visalia, California to Medford, Oregon with her 27-year-old son, Robert Ackerman. Her new apartment was just a couple blocks away from where Roxanne's car was found. And Robert Ackerman also looks exactly like the composite sketch.
Oh.
Yes. He's an educated businessman who had a supervisor job at a large transportation firm. But they learned that he had moved with his mom to Medford to try and get a fresh start. Didn't really elaborate on that, but maybe had gotten himself in a pickle in California. Darlene said that when they arrived in Medford, they got in contact with Roxanne to help them find a home in the area. She said that Robert did go and view the duplex with Roxanne 2 weeks before her disappearance. And she said that on the morning of December 4th, Robert left the apartment they were staying in, went over to his brother's motel. Of course, that's the same shitty motel that the call came in from.
Right.
Then she said that the next morning, Robert packed up his car with all of his shit, said that he didn't like the weather in Oregon, and he was headed back to California. And this all just kind of came out of nowhere.
What?
Yeah. Yep. Don't like it here. I'm leaving.
Wait, what's the date of this event?
December 4th.
Oh, it's December. Okay.
Yeah. So Darlene gives the police permission to search her apartment, and they find some of the same boxes that were the boxes found in the back of Roxanne's truck. But that's not enough evidence for an arrest warrant.
No.
So they need to find a sample of this guy's fingerprints. So they start digging, and eventually they learn that he had prints on file with the state of California linked to some sort of insurance fraud.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, those prints match the ones found on the garage door, and it matched the prints that the police were able to pull off the duct tape that was used on both women.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So they issue an arrest warrant, and they start headed to California.
But like
On the road to
California is a big state.
Mhm.
Did everybody just assume he went back to Visalia, or?
I think Darlene said he planned on heading to like the LA area, which also is a
I'm like
huge
the
area.
LA area. It's like
That is the whole
like all
southern
of Southern
part
California.
of the state.
Yeah, okay.
Don't worry about it. They're just going to poke around in Southern California for a bit. So they're on their way to California when they get a phone call that he was just involved in a botched kidnapping and robbery, and he was currently on the run and wanted by the state of California as well.
What?
This guy is unhinged right
Clearly, we're in like berserker mode here. What is going on?
now. Berserker. I don't know why that sounded funny. You said it right, but my ears didn't process it correctly.
Tickled your fancy, huh?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay.
So they're able to track him down at a shitty motel in California. He loves shitty motels.
Clearly.
They are able to safely and quietly evacuate all of the surrounding rooms before moving in on him. And they arrest him without incident.
Huh.
So he immediately confesses to killing Roxanne and Michelle.
Did it.
And to the botched kidnapping and robbery.
I did it.
You got me. You got me. Uncle.
What?
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, he confesses to another homicide. A man named Scott George. He was last seen having drinks with Scott George, and Scott George has been missing for 3 months.
What? All this has just been weighing on his mind. He was ready to just tell somebody.
Yeah, he's just, bleh. Yeah. Ackerman said that he was driving down a country road. Why do I have a speech impediment?
I don't know. You're not even drinking today.
Nope. Maybe I should
We've
like fall
talked
down
about
well,
this.
her eyes go cross, kick by a mule, they go back straight. I don't know. They were driving down a country road.
Country road.
Ooh, take me home. Scott George was in the passenger seat and he was driving, and he just reached under his seat, got out his gun, and shot Scott in the head while he was driving.
Wait, while Scott was driving?
No, he was driving.
Oh,
Reached down under
just-
his driver's seat, grabbed a gun, and shot him. Mm-hmm. So Robert Ackerman said that his favorite movie was Natural Born Killers.
Okay.
And he has fantasized about being a killer since he was a child.
Okay.
His brother said that he was a twisted individual, which maybe is why he was staying at the budget motel.
Instead of at the apartment with his mom and his brother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'll just stay here. That was probably the right move.
Right?
Uh-huh. He said that what he was attempting to do was kidnap a property manager and force that person to write him a check off of the account for like the security and cleaning deposit, which is why he targeted Roxanne. Mm-hmm. He met her at the... I know. He met her at the duplex, and as soon as she was inside, he held her at gunpoint. But Roxanne told him there was no such account with money, and that pissed him off. So he tells Roxanne that she is going to take him to her house, pack up a suitcase and make it look like her and Michelle had left town, and then he will empty her accounts. Unfortunately, Roxanne called Michelle and had her come to the duplex, believing that once he had the money, he would just let them both go. But she didn't realize that she was luring her partner into
a deadly situation.
So in October of 97, Robert Ackerman was sentenced to death for the murder of Roxanne and Michelle. In 2002, he got another death sentence for the murder of Scott George. He died at the age of 50 of natural causes on October 26, 2018 in the Oregon State Penitentiary. I only saw one source that said this, but like when he was initially arrested, he was maintaining that this was all like for financial reasons. But then later he went on to say that he did have a problem with Roxanne and Michelle being gay, and that is why he killed them. And then he also said that Scott George made a pass at him while they were driving, which is why he shot him.
Also, I didn't realize that Oregon had the death penalty.
I think it was later. I think it did then. I also read only in one source that it was commuted to a life sentence after the fact.
Yeah.
And that is the horrible murder of Roxanne and Michelle.
Well, that was awful.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No. Thank you.
No, but really. Oh my God. You know what I just keep thinking about though? I just keep thinking, what's Hannah? I just keep thinking about Hannah.
I know.
Both her grandmas.
I know.
That is so sad.
Yeah. And to move to a new, I mean, I don't know if that's why they were targeted or not, but to move to a new area to get away from that and then to have that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so fucked.
I mean, it sounds like retcon to me on his part. Like he found out later that they were lesbians. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought that too, except why did he kill Scott George? Like what? They obviously knew each other in some way and they were out drinking. Like that whole story eerily reminds me of like the Matthew Shepard, like what they alleged. You know, they were out drinking and then they were off on a drive and they alleged that Matthew like hit on them and they freaked out.
Yeah, but that's just,
and it's just like it makes me so mad.
I'm not going to take the word of the murderer.
Oh no, I'm not taking his word. I'm just trying to understand the randomness of.
I mean, this guy sounded pretty sick. He just was like he was like fleeing Oregon and tried to kidnap somebody else. Like, what are we doing?
I know. Yeah, he's gross.
Oh my God.
Blech.
Okay, well, I'm not going to give you a palate cleanse per se.
Cool.
So.
Per se. Berger.
The vibe is so weird today. Okay.
I know. Sorry.
No, it's both of us. It's both of us. I'm going to tell you about Andrew Gosden.
Okay.
He was born July 10th, 1993 in Doncaster, South Yorkshire in England.
Mm-hmm.
The Gosden family lived in Balby, a suburb of Doncaster. Andrew's parents, Kevin and Glenys, were both devout Anglican Christians, but they never baptized Andrew or his sister Charlotte because they wanted their kids to make their own way on their spiritual path.
Oh, I love that.
Me too. Andrew was a Cub Scout. Andrew's family described him as a home bird who rarely left the house.
Is that what they say instead of homebody?
I mean, maybe.
I'm going to be a home bird from now on.
His family called him Roo because he was little and bouncy.
Oh my God, cute.
And like Andrew, right? Like that's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Andrew was a really smart kid with 100% attendance record at the Macaulay Catholic High School. He was in the Young, Gifted, and Talented program, which is curriculum for the top 5% of the students. He had excellent grades. He was described as a prize-winning mathematician who was destined for Cambridge.
Wow.
Even so, Andrew was pretty neutral about school. It wasn't challenging for him, even in the gifted program.
Jeez.
During the summer of 2006, Andrew attended a 2-week residential school at Lancaster University as part of the Young Gifted and Talented program. The summer school was for kids from all over the UK, aged 11 to 16, who were in the top 5% academically. When Andrew came back from summer school, he was really enthusiastic about his experience.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew was the kind of kid who was happy in his own company, but he wasn't a loner, and he had a small but good group of friends. He didn't really hang out with his friends much outside of school, though. As far as his parents could tell, he wasn't like a depressed kid, and they weren't aware of any bullying that he was receiving at school or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
His dad said he was a bit absent-minded, not streetwise, that he was a deep character who did not get worked up or moody.
Wow.
His teachers viewed him as a shy, quiet young man who was mature beyond his years. In the summer of 2007, Andrew turned 14, but many said he looked younger, maybe more like 12. He was small for his age. He wore strong prescription glasses, was deaf in his left ear, and he had a distinctive double ridge on his right ear, like the top of the outside top of the earlobe.
Oh, okay.
Andrew had light brown hair, but was planning to dye it black soon. His parents suggested he should travel to London on his own to stay with his grandma for a little bit that summer, but he decided not to go. When Andrew was 12, his parents had bought him his third phone. The first two, the 2 years prior, he had lost. And that same summer that he didn't go stay with his grandma in 2007, he lost that phone too. So he had lost his third phone in like 3 years or 4 years or whatever it was. And when his parents offered to replace the lost phone, he told them he'd rather have a new Xbox.
Okay.
Andrew was really into video games and metal bands.
He sounds so interesting.
Doesn't he?
This is quite the potpourri of things happening.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So school starts in 2007 in early September. We're about a week into the new school year. Andrew comes home from school on the 12th, and he has walked home from school rather than take the bus. It's like 4 miles. It's a good hour and 20-minute walk.
Jeez.
And this is not usual for him. And on the 13th, the next day, he did it again. That night was typical. The family had dinner together, washed up the dishes together. Then Andrew and Kevin did a puzzle on the computer together, and he watched some comedy shows with his mom, Glennis. The next morning, on the 14th, Andrew had a hard time waking up for school that day and was particularly irritable. This was, again, not normal for Andrew, who wasn't one to struggle to get up on time.
Right.
At 8:05 a.m., Andrew left the house and made his way across Westfield Park to his bus stop. Everyone had a normal day at work and school as far as the family thought, and when Kevin and Glennis and Charlotte sat down to eat dinner that night and Andrew wasn't at the table, they all assumed he was either in the basement playing video games or in his room doing homework. But they soon realized he was not in the house at all. They found in his room his school uniform blazer lying across the back of a chair. The rest of his school clothes he'd left the house in that day were in the washing machine.
Okay, so he's been home.
So he had clearly come home at some point and changed clothes.
Yeah.
They started calling his friends to see if he was with one of them. He was not. And that is also when they found out Andrew had not been at school that day at all. As it turned out, the school had tried to contact the Gosdens earlier that day to notify them of Andrew's absence, but unfortunately, they had called the wrong family by mistake.
This is the second story in a row where the absent line call thing from the school failed.
I didn't even know that until I started digging into the story. It looks like they had actually dialed the number of the parents either above or below the Gosdens on their registry, and they left a message at the wrong house.
Ugh.
It was about 7 p.m. when they called the police. Charlotte said, quote, "It was just a complete panic. We initially thought something must have happened on the way to school. When we found he hadn't even been to school, even tried to go to school, it was even more worrying." Kevin went out and started searching along Andrew's route to school and areas nearby, but found nothing. Within 3 hours of realizing Andrew was missing, a missing persons flyer was already circulating. The Gosdens and their friends searched the whole area until nightfall. Over the weekend, the police continued to search, but also found nothing. As far as they could tell, Andrew had taken his wallet, his keys, and his portable PlayStation. He hadn't even taken the charger for the PlayStation.
He took his portable PlayStation. Okay. Okay.
Nothing suggested he was going to be gone for very long, except they did discover he withdrew most of his money from his bank account from an ATM at a local garage around 8:10 a.m., indicating he had walked right past his bus stop that morning and gotten cash instead.
This is so weird.
A neighbor's home security camera caught him walking down Littlemore Lane back towards Westfield Park around 8:30 a.m. The search eventually led police to a woman who had sold a train ticket to Andrew at Doncaster railway station. She remembered it well because he bought a one-way ticket, and she suggested that for not much more he could get a round trip, but he declined.
What?
His ticket was to London.
Okay.
Kevin would later say that it wasn't super weird that Andrew bought a one-way ticket because the family knew numerous people in London that Andrew could stay with. I didn't look up where Doncaster was, but I feel like it can't be that far from London.
Right.
As soon as it was determined he had boarded a train to London, the family headed there and started handing out flyers, both the family and officials initially focusing on the Chislehurst and Sidcup areas where the Gosdens had family living. The South Yorkshire Police said it asked the British Transport Police to search CCTV footage within 2 days of Andrew going missing, but BTP could not pick him out from the crowds. It would be...
This is the footage from the train?
Mm-hmm. This is the Transport Police. So this would be train station footage. But the BTP could not pick him out from the crowds. It would be 3 weeks later that both agencies would review CCTV footage together at King's Cross Station, and Andrew was identified. So King's Cross Station is in London, and my understanding is it's like a major... Like it's a big mamma jamma, major like train hub.
Okay.
In like the middle of London.
Wow.
Still photos from this footage of Andrew leaving the main concourse at King's Cross was circulated through the media, including a close-up of that distinctive double ridge on his right ear.
Oh, wow.
Andrew was wearing a black Slipknot t-shirt, black jeans, tennis shoes, a watch on his left wrist, and he was carrying a black canvas satchel with patches of rock and metal bands on it. This would be the last footage found of Andrew. His family and police looked into the possibility that Andrew had gone to London to meet someone he met online.
Yeah.
But there was zero evidence of this. Andrew didn't have a computer at home. His sister had a laptop, Charlotte did, but she'd only had it for a couple months, and that was the only computer in the house. As far as Kevin knew, Andrew didn't have an email account and had never even set up an online account with his Xbox or his PlayStation. And Charlotte said that Andrew didn't seem the least bit interested in social media at all or connecting with people online. Police collected computers from Andrew's school and the Doncaster library, but the digital forensics investigators found no trace of any activity connected to Andrew. They even sent the serial number of the PlayStation to Sony, who found no record of any account being set up or any communication established on that device.
Wow.
So with no other footage to be found of Andrew in London after leaving the train station, the investigation turned to trying to figure out why the fuck Andrew went to London that day at all.
Mm-hmm.
The family had a thought that maybe he just decided to go sightseeing. He liked London and visited often with his family to see his grandparents, aunts and uncles, family friends, and he really enjoyed the museums and exhibitions. The bus system in London is free for kids, and when Charlotte was 14, she had traveled to London to hand out CVs when she was trying to gain work experience. They thought maybe Andrew was doing the same. Mm-hmm. Kevin also thought it was possible Andrew went to London to attend the 2007 YouTube gathering, but no evidence that he did attend could be found or that he had really any interest in that.
Right.
Then they looked into concerts that he might have gone to. The night he disappeared, 30 Seconds to Mars was playing at Brixton Academy. Some band called Sixth. They're like some metal band in like a British metal band. They played a rescheduled farewell show at the Carling Academy. That venue is within walking distance of King's Cross. The last show for that band had originally been scheduled back in early July, the final show with the original vocalist. A retired head of the Met Police thought that was a very plausible theory and appealed for anyone who had been at the show to send their photos or videos of the event. He also said that there is a canal nearby that he was not certain had been dredged or checked. And while Andrew was a fan of similar bands to these two, there was no evidence he attended these shows or even liked these bands.
Right.
There was a Finnish band, Him, that had a promotional signing at the HMV store on Oxford Street on Monday the 17th. So this would be 3 days later, because the 14th, the day he got on the train to London, was a Friday.
Okay.
And they performed an invitation-only show that same night at the Borderline in Soho. The only way to get into that show was by contests and giveaways. The band was super helpful in trying to find out if Andrew had been there, but nothing came of it. Kevin said that it was also very possible that Andrew had gone to London to do something that was easier to ask for forgiveness for rather than permission.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah, sure.
The Gosdens were critical of the police's decision to concentrate on investigating them instead of searching out security footage beyond King's Cross. Kevin said that they viewed him as a suspect in the initial stages and conducted unlawfully recorded interviews where they were pressuring him to reveal the reason for Andrew's disappearance. And Kevin and the rest of the family were cleared of any involvement.
Well, yeah. God. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And then there was the fact that BTP couldn't find Andrew in their review of the train station footage in London and ultimately required someone from SYP to come out and help them. And Kevin also claimed that CCTV footage from buses and the adjacent subway stations were like none of that was requested by authorities either.
What the fuck? That's like a no-brainer.
Right?
Oh my God. Okay.
And then there were the reported sightings of Andrew that Kevin was angry to find out were never followed up on properly, particularly one at Pizza Hut and another at Covent Garden. Kevin said these were ones that should have been pursued because of their credibility, partly because of the way the witnesses described how Andrew spoke to them.
Okay.
There were additional unconfirmed sightings in the first week after Andrew went missing, 122 possible sightings from all over Britain, including 45 from London and 11 from Brighton, a seaside town about 45 miles from London. There were additional unconfirmed sightings on Oxford Street on Monday the 17th, and the next day when Andrew was said to have been sleeping in a park in Southwark. He was reportedly seen getting off a local train from Waterloo at Mortlake Station on the 19th, which was 5 days after he disappeared, then possibly walking up Sheen Lane and along Upper Richmond Road. It was reported that he appeared to have gotten himself some warmer clothes. A woman reported a potential sighting of Andrew on the 17th of October, a month after he disappeared in Covent Garden. She said she spoke to a boy that she told him he looked like a boy she had seen on TV that was missing, but the boy denied that he was Andrew.
Okay.
Later, other reported sighting locations included a park in Streatham, then further away in South Wales, Birkenhead, and Plymouth. In 2009, 2 possible sightings were reported, one outside the Natural History Museum, the other in a pub in Southend. None of these sightings could be verified.
My God, this is so weird.
Kevin said none of the sightings were followed up by the police, and the woman who reported the Covent Garden sighting was not spoken to until 6 weeks after the disappearance.
The fuck?
In November 2008, so over a year after Andrew went missing, a man visited Leominster Police Station in Hertfordshire, West Midlands, Hertfordshire, and used the intercom system to talk to a police officer, stating that he had information about Andrew. Since this was at evening time, the intercom system was in use because the reception desk was not staffed.
Gotcha.
By the time an officer arrived to take the details, the man had left.
No.
Police later appealed for him to get back in touch, and later someone claiming to be that man at the police station wrote anonymously to the BBC after they featured Andrew's case on The One Show. The man gave details of a possible sighting of Andrew in Shrewsbury in November of 2008. It has not been confirmed that it was the same man on both occasions, and if so, why he did not wait at the police station.
Right. Oh.
In September 2009, so 2 years after his disappearance, the family released age-progressed images of what Andrew might look like age 16. In November 2009, Kevin appealed to the gay community to help find his son. Andrew's family considered the possibility that he could have been struggling with his sexual orientation. Kevin said, quote, "We are a pretty open family, so have wondered if he was gay or struggling with his sexual identity and found it too awkward to raise. If he is gay, we do not have any issue with it. He is loved unconditionally by both my wife and I and his sister." In May 2011, the family paid a private company to conduct a sonar search of the River Thames using the same technology that is used to locate victims and objects at sea. No trace of Andrew was found during the search, but they did find another body.
Oh, well, that's good.
In 2016, Kevin and Glennis appealed for information on the BBC's program Panorama. The following year, to mark the 10th anniversary of his disappearance, the charity Missing People made Andrew the face of their Find Every Child campaign, with Andrew featuring on billboards and advertisements throughout the UK.
Wow.
On September 12, 2017, the police made a fresh appeal for information. A statement on the South Yorkshire Police Facebook page said they were or had been investigating requests for similar optical prescriptions to Andrew's, requesting documents from the Passport Office or National Insurance, and circulating Andrew's DNA, fingerprints, and dental and health records. There was a tone to the statement that suggested the police believed Andrew may still be alive. The police also do annual checks on John Does in the hospitals.
That's pretty clever. The glasses prescription. Yeah.
Also,
we'll give him that.
Also, he's got that like thing on his ear, like the ridges on his ear. They're like really distinct. They are very distinct. I've never seen that on anyone before.
That's like that case that you did, the Rack Man. He had a fully disformed head, and nobody was like, they were all like, nope, don't know that guy,
is. Right?
That's pretty distinct.
Right?
Yeah.
So in June 2018, the Gosden family said that someone had reported an online conversation with a person with the username Andy Rue, who claimed that their boyfriend had left them and they needed £200 to cover rent. When someone offered to send them money, the user claimed they did not have a bank account as they had, quote, left home when they were 14. Whoa. The link was investigated by police, but the person was not identified. In July 2018, so a month later, to mark Andrew's 25th birthday, 2 updated age progression photographs were released by the family. It was also announced that the band Muse would help publicize the campaign to find Andrew. In October 2019, another age progression image of Andrew was released. His family have kept his room as he left it and have not changed the locks on the house since he was known to have taken his key.
Oh.
His bank account has not been used since he made that withdrawal in the morning he left for London.
Oh my God.
In January 2022, South Yorkshire Police reported that on December 8th, 2021, detectives had arrested 2 men aged 38 and 45 on suspicion of kidnapping and human trafficking. The older man's arrest was also connected with possession of indecent images of children.
Oh, God.
Both men were released under investigation while inquiries continued and were believed to be the first arrests made in connection to the disappearance of Andrew.
Oh, no.
The following day from this announcement, they reported that numerous devices had been seized from the men for forensic investigation, which police said could take 6 months to a year to analyze. In a statement, Kevin Gosden thanked the public for their support and said that the family did not have any information other than what had been released to the public.
Right.
A year later, in January 2023, SYP said that the men remained under investigation and that the devices were still under examination. It would be a further 6 months in July 2023, coinciding with media coverage about Andrew for his 30th birthday, that SYP released a statement disclosing that the arrests of those two men were based off an anonymous tip they had received. They had not made that bit of info public earlier in their statements. In September 2023, they announced that both of the arrested men had been released without charge and that they were confident the two men arrested played no part in Andrew's disappearance.
Damn it.
At the time, Kevin said, quote, "The past months of this investigation have been a period of additional difficulty for our family, intensifying our sense of living in limbo, not knowing what happened to our much-loved son. As a family, our emotional reaction is to feel that after so much effort over the past 16 years, we remain no closer to discovering what has happened to Andrew."
Oh my God.
He also stated in an interview with The Mirror that same year, quote, "It might sound ridiculous, but Andrew being stupidly intelligent, the only thing he actually even referred to about London before he went missing was the fact that they were having a Tutankhamun exhibition at the British Museum, and he was interested."
Oh.
London police are still urging anyone with any information about Andrew Gosden to come forward and share what they know. In 2008, Kevin said, quote, "I was angry for a time. I wanted to ask him what is so wrong with a middle-class, middle-income, emotionally supportive family that made you disappear out the door. But now I just want to hug him. Our door is always open. The answer phone is always on. Just tell us you are alive."
Oh, no.
And that is the what the fuck disappearance of Andrew Gosden.
Oh my God. That was awful.
Sorry, sister. I made myself cry this time.
Mhm. I wonder what he was doing.
I don't know. That's the wild thing. He went across the street he went across the park to go to his bus stop, but he walked right past. He pulled out $200. He went straight home after everybody else had left the house, changed out of his clothes, put on his casual stuff, grabbed his satchel, went and got a one-way ticket to London, got off at King's Cross, never seen again. 14.
And did they ever hear from the school if he was having my first thought when you were saying that he walked home that one day was that maybe he was being bullied or there was somebody on his bus he was afraid of.
From what his parents said, they had no indication that he was being bullied or had any problems at school.
I wonder if he just had some sort of mental health episode.
I mean, maybe.
Oh, that's devastating.
Yeah.
I hated that.
I'm sorry, sister.
It's okay.
Well,
we
did it again.
Yeah, we did.
And it wasn't even an oops. We meant to do that.
That's right. Yeah, we sure did.
Oh, you guys, write us a review. If you listen to us on the Apple podcast, you can write us with a typey review. Give us a rating wherever you do listen. It helps us get into the algorithm so people can find us. And, if you want to hear the story about the double barbecue, you got to be a Chaos Kids Club member. So head on over to patreon.com/crime, wine, and chaos. And for $5 a month, you get a bonus episode every month. And you get new episodes each week a day earlier than everyone else. So it's kind of a good deal.
It is. We also have a website, crimewineandchaos.com. You can check out our pictures and our stories there. You can send us a story suggestion there. You can link to our Gmail from there if you want to you got something to say.
You got something to say?
Say it.
Say it to us.
We're here.
100%.
We're here for
100%.
you.
And I'm here for you, sister. I love you so much. But Jesus Christ, that was fucking chaotic.
Chaotic. Good.
Bye.
Bye. Crime, Wine, and Chaos is produced by 8th Direction Records. Artwork by Joshua M. Davis. Music by Paul Abner. If you would like to support the show, you can visit our Patreon page at crimewineandchaos.com/Patreon. Cheers. Said that he didn't like the dreary words are hard.
Still